Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another review. Another play review at that. And today's play review is none other than Les Blanks. So, what is this play about, you may be asking? This is a play about suffering. This is a play about a country going to its knees. And most importantly, this is a play about a community being torn apart by racism and, most importantly, by a divide of views. We take a trip into a colony that has pretty much been subjugated by well, let's not even be around the bush about it, by a bunch of white people. This is a story about them essentially living there for many years. Now, of course, as far as they're concerned, they've had the power, the kind of upper foot in Africa. But it soon becomes apparent that this is about to change, and most importantly, it's about to change forever. A young man who comes to see a blind woman, and the pair of them begin to talk. Even though he's treated like nothing but a house servant, he is welcome to their house any time he wishes. Well, that's except for when the old man's round, of course. He talks to the old woman about wanting to better himself, about wanting to be educated, and she talks to him about if he goes off to the city, he will be able to have those opportunities. As out in the countryside, there are very little opportunities for him and anyone at that point. He agrees with her and, of course, strives to push himself away from this little town that he lives in. But soon he realizes the consequences of his own decision. As he gets older and stops hanging around with a lot of his friends, he forgets the life he left behind, and most importantly, he forgets how they've all been affected. It turns out that there's been riots in the street and people have been rebelling, and most importantly, the tribes have soon been rising up against the people of the house. They are no longer happy with being slaves to this industry. They want to prove to the people that it is about time that they learn who's in whose place. Now, let me just quickly take a step back for you and quickly help you catch up a little bit on some subtext here. The only reason that there is a lot of riots happening is all due to a kind of misunderstanding. It turns out that one of the women in the house got very ill. And of course, all of the people of the tribe, even though they may not be very happy with the people of the house, they don't want to see anyone get hurt. And most importantly, they don't want to see anyone die. With their mass knowledge of medicine and medication, they have done everything in their power to basically treat them. However, it turns out that the man of the house who has gone off to fight in a war has come back and treated them like scum. And most importantly, when they've died of the illness that has of course overtaken their child, he begins to blame the people in the village, saying they've done some voodoo or something, and apparently that has caused the child to die, not the fact that they've technically died subtly of natural causes and two of the illness itself. This has caused a massive uprising, and a lot of the Zulu warriors in the country have decided that it's about time they take over and burn the house. The young boy who went off to work in the city returns to find houses on fire, streets destroyed, and people dead at their very own doorsteps. After seeing the endless massacres, he goes to the blind woman and asks her why she's still there. She says that she doesn't want to abandon her home as it's the place she has always known. He also bumps into one of his friends who turns out to have joined the Zulu warriors. He tries to plead with him to leave this madness behind. The rioting in the street has gotten too out of hand, and lots of people are going to get hurt. Innocent people. People who weren't like the man at the house. So they should stop whilst they're ahead. His friend in the Zulu tribe decides to disagree with him and turn back to the tribe. He says that if he doesn't get out of the country in time, he will tell the Zulu warriors where his mate is and he will kill him. The pair of them then break out into a big argument as he says, "What have you become? You were my best friend. You were my pal. And now I come back to this." The pair of them argue over the politics, and one of them gets to the point where he says, "But you're the bright businessman. You're the rich one. You work in the city now. You're not like one of us." And that's when suddenly it strikes him. He's right. He's not like one of them. But he was once, and that's what breaks his heart so much in this play. And the play ends with essentially a lot of burning and a lot of visual effects to embody this kind of massacre that has, of course, taken place. This play is nothing short of a beautiful embodiment of what is essentially a massacre. It tells the story of a country that, of course, has been divided by politics and change and evolution, but also by its own past. Yes, it's not wrong that they wanted to rise up, but as the young man in this play points out, when is enough enough? When do we stop the fighting and finally realise what we're actually fighting for? And for that reason, I give this play a solid 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next play review. Until then, stay beautiful and have an incredible day, you beautiful people.